Next up in our MLK Day celebration, let's take a look at a video from our online education portal, Hop EDU. It's the go-to space where teachers, parents, and guardians can access free materials to teach and engage their students. There, you can access Rock Hall exclusive content, everything from lesson plans and activities to videos and playlists created by our education team. We even curated a collection of materials to celebrate Dr. King's legacy. In that collection, you can find activities for kids of all ages, where they can create their own protest sign or think deeply about what their dreams are for a better future. Let's check out a video from Rock Hall EDU with Rafiq Watson, a hip-hop scholar from Cleveland's own Case Western Reserve University. Watson talks about how DJs in the mid-1970s used breakbeats to create an entirely new style of music that would take over the world.
Hi, I'm Rafiq Watson, and I'm a Ph.D. student in musicology at Case Western Reserve, and also a beat maker and hip-hop fan. Today I'm going to talk to you about how hip-hop moved from the turntable to the sampler. So we begin our story 50 years ago in the year 1973, and with DJ Kool Herc and the historic party that he threw at 1520 Sedgwick Avenue in the Bronx. Now, the unique thing that he was doing was using two turntables to play only the breakbeat portions of records. Now, if you don't know what a breakbeat is, that is the most percussive part of a record, which normally people would call the get down, the part of the record that would get you on the dance floor. So think about a drum solo or maybe the bass, but no vocals or other instruments getting in the way. So Kool Herc kind of noticed that when he would DJ, this is the part of the record that would get dancers on the dance floor. So what he would do is cue up a break on one record, and when that break went off, immediately mix between another record. So to give you an idea of a popular breakbeat you might hear at a Kool Herc party, I've queued up the Incredible Bongo Band's Apache. And now Herc would play this and maybe follow up Apache with another break from maybe James Brown or Jimmy Castor, something like that. But I'm just gonna give you a taste of what a breakbeat kind of sounds like. So I'm gonna trigger it from my Akai sampler here. Funky. All right, so you imagine that when that goes off, Herc's immediately following that up with another break. So there's no stops. It's just keeping people on the dance floor by moving from breakbeat to breakbeat. And Herc calls this the merry-go-round. So other DJs are watching what Kool Herc does with his two turntables and playing these breakbeats, and they're influenced as well. Africa Bambaataa expanded the options for where we could find a break. Now, Bambaataa did what's called crate digging, and what that is going to a record store and looking through other genres of music to try to find a breakbeat that might not be contained on your soul, funk, R&B. So we're talking about genres like jazz or rock or even electro. So now I'm going to play for you a song by the German electro group Kraftwerk, which is called Trans-Europe Express. And this is a song you would hear at an Africa Bambaataa party. So as you can see, this sounds a lot different from the example that I gave from Kool Herc, right? There's synthesizers, there's drum machines. So this electro sound becomes very influential, not only in hip hop, but in other genres like techno and house. Grandmaster Flash is looking at what Kool Herc and Africa Bambaataa are doing and feeling like he can actually perfect this into a point of getting a perfect loop out of his records. So instead of moving from break to break on his records, what he's going to do is have two copies of the same break on both turntables and go seamlessly between the two. And the way he's able to do this is really a cardinal no-no for if you're handling records. When I was a kid, you picked up a record by the side like a hot casserole dish, right? Grandmaster Flash is going to touch the tops of the record, and he's going to use a grease pencil to mark the beginning part of the break on both records so he knows exactly where that break starts. So while the break is playing on one turntable, he's able to cue it up by backspinning and having the needle drop and letting the record go so that as soon as it ends on this turntable, it begins on the next one. And so you have a perfect loop being created, which also becomes a stable thing for the dancers and then rappers to start developing their style around what he's doing. So to demonstrate what Grandmaster Flash's mix might sound like, I'm going to go back to the Incredible Bongo Band's Apache, but I'm going to trigger it in a way where you can hear how the perfect loop, having control over this record starting and stopping, enables you to play it in a different way. So not dropping a needle and letting the record play, but actually playing the record. So as you can see, having that total control over the record allows you to play more of it, less of it. You can start to then alternate between the two and have an echo effect going on. And if you want to hear how Grandmaster Flash sounds, I invite you to listen to The Adventures of Grandmaster Flash on the Wheels of Steel, so you'll get an idea of what he sounded like. So I do want to remind you that these three DJs were playing at a time between 1973 and 1979, before hip hop was on records. So if you wanted to hear this, you had to actually go to the party to see it live.